So you're Mr. Shifter,
I am indeed.
and this is your Ford Consul GT.
Absolutely.
So can you tell us a little bit about it? It's a bit of a star car in its own right.
It is a bit, yes, yeah. Ford registered it in 1974 for use specifically in making the Sweeney. It was in the series, the whole of Series 1 and part of Series 2, but that car remained on the title sequences until the end of Series 3, which is probably why a lot of people remember it. So it was the first real series where they actually took the TV series outside and filmed it on the streets. When you see sequences of the car driving along, and there's usually a shot through the passenger window, and the window's open because the camera's clamped to the door. As Billy Murray said when they interviewed him about it, who did Stop Our Driver, he said there was cameras clamped to the front wings as well, and the car was about 5 or 6 foot wider than it should be. And he said you've got to try and drive it through the West End streets of London where these cameras clamped to the wings, another one clamped to the door. You know, he said it's not easy. So, because they're big enough cars as they are. I was lucky enough to have a very long phone conversation with Peter Braham, who was the stunt coordinator for the whole of the Sweeney. And he brokered the deal for the cars with Ford because he also did the deal for Brannigan, which used a lot of Ford cars as well. So the Sweeney was made off the back of Brannigan, so he managed to convince Ford to lend him some more cars because he hadn't damaged them very much. Originally, they wanted them to use a marine blue, which is a dark blue Consul or Granada. And he wouldn't use that. He wanted a bright coloured car that would stand out against the drab London background of the time. A lot of people, they call it tawny brown, they call it Roman bronze, all different colours. It's actually copper brown metallic. Ford actually disposed of it in June/July 1975. Ford then replaced the Consul with a Granada S, which is why it changed mid-series. Ford then put that into one of their dealer auctions, and they sold it off their forecourt to a police constable.
Of course.
And he started using it for work, but of course it was still appearing in the series. So he was getting a lot of ribbing off his mates about it. He had the car for, I think it was nearly 3 years, and then he sold it, and it was bought by somebody in Slough. I believe he was a scrap metal dealer at the time. And he bought the car, and it lived in Slough really for the rest of its life until 1988 when I bought it. We stripped the car to a rolling shell basically. It was just with its wheels, its suspension, and that was about it. Everything else came out with the intention of getting started on it. And then life got in the way. That was 1990, and the restoration didn't start until 2004. All throughout those 14 odd years that it was off the road, I was collecting panel work for it, and bits and pieces that I needed because I wanted to get as much genuine Ford panels as I could. 95% of the stuff that's on it, panel work wise, is all genuine Ford panel work, but the interior is completely original. That's what came out of the car, and that's what went back in. It goes out and about, so I take it to shows, and it's usually out in the sun, but I try not to. It's the interior more than the bodywork I'm worried about, because the interior is very susceptible to the sun. So you have to be very careful. You get a particularly hot day because it can burn the backs of the seats out and bleach out the parcel shelf. It's surprising the amount of people, even younger people now, that recognise it, because of course it's on television on ITV4 every week.
Yes.
So a lot of people see it. Usually, if I'm driving it around, if I'm driving it to shows, nobody recognises it, and I don't know what it is. My next door neighbour called it a Cortina. First time I put it on the driveway. A lot of people call it a Cortina. But yeah, once you put the link in, then they realise what it is. But then they think it's a Granada, not a Consul. So.